in like a return to office announcement when a CEO says, oh, well, we're all going back into the office because this happened. Do you have any symptoms or problems that you hear getting unfairly labeled as caused by distributed teamwork when there's something else going on?
They're going to blame productivity. They're going to blame isolation. I think the biggest one that really gets under my skin is connection and belonging. When they start to go down that road, I'm like, this conversation's over. I'm like, I walk out.
I've lost count of the number of times I've heard like, oh, our teams aren't innovating as effectively. It sounds like a problem with the company, not necessarily a problem with the style of working. Correlation does not equal causation.
Exactly. 100%. It's like, what planet are you on? It feels so infantile to be having these conversations with some of the top executives in the world. They're saying, well, how do you know if workers are working if you can't see them? Like, I don't want to make you feel stupid, but I don't know how to not do that right now.
Laurel, you were the first guest that I ever invited onto Out of Office. I'm so happy to have you back on the show as our first ever returning guest. Welcome back.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our topic today is solving the biggest problems of distributed teamwork. What do you think is the root cause? What are the real problems of distributed teamwork? Because we're still in our infancy, right? The infrastructure for distributed teamwork is already more effective than in-office work has ever been. However, you and I both know that it's only up from here.
I think because there are so many diverse pain points that people experience with remote work, we feel like there must be a lot of diverse problems to solve, but there's not. There's just one problem to solve, and that is the way that work is managed, period. Remote work did not create any of these issues, it revealed them.
Unpack that a bit for me. How did you land on this conclusion?
So if we go back to the Industrial Revolution, that's where we developed modern workflows. That was the birth of supervisory roles that could literally stand on a pedestal and watch the workflow happen in the factory. Things started slowly evolving due to the emergence of modern mobile technology. All of these elements of business had converted from physical to virtual, except for management methods. So when the whole world needed to go remote overnight, the whole responsibility of change fell onto the shoulders of mid-level managers because they were the ones responsible for supervising work. Never were they taught how physical management is different than virtual management. And so they were just lost. We have to understand that management methods in business have to be updated for virtual infrastructures. And if we do not, then we will continue to feel all of the diverse pain points that we have been feeling for the past 4 years.
So what does that mean in practice?
So the good news here is that it can be simplified into very small actions and behaviors that will create that big impact that you're looking for. This is regardless of workplace. This is just the future of work. 4 pillars in which we really need to invest in and understand if we want to truly operate as a virtual first organization. We start with knowledge management. What that means is we need to move away from the tradition of verbal knowledge sharing. We've known for a long time that that doesn't create a really effective paper trail of evidence that allows us to effectively repeat processes. So what we want to move towards instead is a habit of documentation. In the project management category, we're moving away from synchronous collaboration to asynchronous collaboration. We need to enable each individual worker to perform their task at the speed that is correct for their pace, as opposed to slowing themselves down to match the group. So the third category is self-management. In my opinion, this is really the theme of the future of work in general. This is about the empowerment of people at work. We want them to work in an autonomous work environment. And for us as leaders, that usually means that we're managing them with a servant leadership mindset. The fourth and last category is that performance management, moving away from those physical-based measurement methods, like I can see somebody being productive, and we're going to move towards quantitative results-based measurement methods like OKRs and KPIs, so that we can prove that somebody is a higher performer than somebody else, as opposed to just feeling like they are.
You're not talking about, how do we create an environment where people can work where they like. You are actually approaching this from a standpoint of what is best for the business. There's a lot of power in it.
Absolutely. And I hate that about the current narrative about return to office versus not. It's like, well, do we do what's best for the business or best for the people? And it's like, what? Like, your business is your people. So if you make work easier for people, then your business will operate better. That then influences their loyalty and employee retention, which is one of the largest cost drains of organizations in the world.
Yeah, I for one do my best work when I'm inspired and excited about the goal that I'm working towards, and I understand the role that I play in getting there and get shit done, as it were.
Yes, we'll have that cross-stitched on a pillow.
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot about documentation lately because of the ongoing conversation about AI.
Absolutely. The rise of AI could not have come at a better time. So many of these processes and changes do require such intricate documentation. With the rise of AI, those tasks went from taking months or years to minutes. That's incredibly empowering for any organization to say, okay, you're telling me that I need more documentation. Whew, that sounds like a heavy lift. Oh, wait, Notion now has an AI assistant. Click, click, click. Guess what? I now have a handbook. AI is your best friend.
What gets me excited about integrating AI into business functions is reducing the amount of manual effort and input and just, sheer hours that it takes to create great documentation, to implement all of the suggestions that you've made about the kind of management practices that are actually going to position your company for success in any environment, including distributed.
Exactly. And that, how much more can that help you be a better leader? For so long, we've thought, I should probably, set KPIs and OKRs for my team members and write performance rubrics. But who has time to do that, But now, spend 15 minutes in ChatGPT and you've got all of those performance rubrics done. And all you need to do is take them to the next performance review, discuss and customize them with each of your team members, and that's it. It's amazing.
And those admin tasks can already be completed by AI tools. It's just a matter of integrating them in the right way so that they can actually help us to be better at what we do and free up time for the stuff that really matters.
Exactly. I always feel sad when people feel that sense of defensiveness and insecurity when they think about AI and, is this going to take away my job? That's not it at all. These tools are going to help you do all of the things that you do best that a machine can't do.
Yeah, I think one of the opportunities that excites me the most is I work with a lot of people around the world, and for most of them, English isn't their first language. But because teamwork requires a common language, we're all speaking in English all the time. So I have a major advantage because this is my first language. I think about what could happen if they were able to speak in their own native language. The technology for real-time translation already exists. It's just a matter of integrating it in a way that enables everybody to interact in their native language. I can't wait for that to happen. I just wonder when, not if.
I love that, to think about how each stage of evolution of business really unifies our global community together. It's so exciting.
And it's better business at the end of the day. If people watching this walk away with one thing, what would you like them to remember?
I don't want them to be afraid of change. The more that we feel confident in our value and confident in the hope of the future, the more that we are motivated to overcome those blocks and embrace the exciting opportunities that these changes can enable. The more that we identify and remember that we are change agents, the brighter the future is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I couldn't have wrapped this up better myself. Thank you so much, Laurel, for your time today. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you for having me, Ben. It's always a pleasure.